Jake, congrats. Second straight game, you take somebody down while missing one of your primary players. What is it taking this team to overcome another bout of adversity, and come out with wins like this?
Yeah, listen, the message has been simple, and it's been the same the last two games. We have to find a way to be when you're a man down, we find a way to be a little bit tougher and a little more together. Nebraska's a really good team, and they are going to be dangerous this postseason. Coach Hoiberg's done a great job, this season, and we went into this game like we knew they were going to be on it, and we had to give our absolute best. And I'm so proud of the way our guys stepped up. Missing such an important piece as Bruce, but we shouldn't be surprised because they did the same thing, missing such an important piece with Jameson against Michigan State.
Jameson said that there's a little bit of the sand running out of the hourglass going through his head, and that was part of coming out and playing the way that he did. Are you seeing some of that from him, like him taking some ownership of where this season could still ultimately finish?
Yeah, I think he's so bought into what we're doing and finishing this well, and I love his aggressiveness. I think I told some people during the Michigan State game, even though he wasn't playing, like his voice was so valuable for our team, and you just felt his presence, which I thought was really impressive and spoke volumes about kind of where his head is at. And then for him to come out and shoot the way he did, and his aggressiveness, and he had me fired up at times out there today with how fired up he was. I thought that was contagious for our team, and I'm so happy for him in the way he played and bounced back after being out last game.
Jake, just any update on Bruce and just with his stats? Was he able to watch the game today?
Yeah, so Bruce started getting some symptoms of a migraine this afternoon, and he and our medical team did absolutely everything they could to try to get him, play. He wanted to be out there, obviously, but it just wasn't in his best interest at that point in time to do it. So, but we feel for him. Obviously, we know how tough he is and how much he loves his team. But yeah, that was kind of what happened. Came on Saturday.
So did he have to just watch it from somewhere else? Like, was he on the bench today? I didn't see it.
Yeah, he wasn't on the bench, and when I talked to him after the game, I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
I just told him, my preference would be to have him out there anytime I get the coach. But and he smiled. But yeah, I think we're expecting things to recover soon. So yeah.
And then with Roddy, it just feels like, especially the last two games, he's giving you guys a lot. Getting at the free throw line, and especially rebounding. Just what have you seen in the last couple of games, especially from him contributing in all different ways?
Yeah, Roddy's aggressiveness has been great for us. He's attacking the paint at a high level, him getting to the free throw line. He and Jameson both, as much as they did, was really important for us. They're such good shooters that it's a real weapon for us. But Roddy and I, we talked about one of the ways we could help fix our rebounding was he could get more because he has that ability, and he has been great on the glass for a double-double tonight. I'm so impressed. He's playing so hard out there, and I feel like we have a great dialogue going right now where he's like, hey, coach, I need a quick one. All right, boom, get you out, get you back in. And I just love where he's at, where his head is at, how focused he is, and you guys know how important he is to our team, and he's really stepped up.
It's February 29th, I think you know that. And so Jameson, when he was in here, said, let the madness begin in terms of March being on the doorstep. Just where is this team at right now in terms of being able to sustain what you guys have produced in these last 4 games and the strides you've been able to make?
Yeah, I think, we've practiced consistently well, and I think that says a lot about, whether it's been the emotional win, right, against Purdue, obviously the emotional win against Michigan State and how that game ended, but we have practiced well consistently, and I think that's the most important thing. Our guys are playing aggressively. I think there's a great deal of belief right now, which is important, but I expect us to practice really well leading into the next one because the focus has been one day at a time. And so our leadership has been so good during this time period, during this adversity that has been hard for all of us. But I've been so impressed with how they've led, and they've led by example in practice. So I anticipate we'll keep that up.
Jake, Jameson makes his first 3, and then I think misses his next 4, but then attacks the basket on 2. I think they have an offensive rebound that led to Scotty. A veteran guy like that, I assume, knows how to manage when he's hitting, when he's not, but his ability to kind of do a little bit of everything, how big is that aside from the 3-pointers, which are the obvious part of this game?
Yeah, I think he had 3 assists tonight, which was great. Rebounded well. I thought his defense was really good, but him being able to draw fouls at the clip he did was really impressive. But listen, if he has an inch of space, I want him shooting that thing. Like whether he misses the 5 before that or not, he's such a good player, and want him to stay aggressive. And like his heat check, I was fine with. I thought it was going in. So I think he's got to keep playing with that mentality. But as he's shown some more versatility, no doubt, and I think it's going to be great for us down the stretch if he can keep doing that.
You mentioned that you were a shooter too. Do you think that helps you, and your brother helps you be okay with some of those?
Yeah, I mean, I know he thinks every shot is going in. I feel the same way, and there's been games where we've struggled to get him looks. So when he gets a catch, he's got to be thinking score first. And I thought he read the game at a really high level. He took the right shots from 3, but then he also attacked when it called for it. That was probably the most, like, him going 10 for 10 from the free throw line was really good too. But the most impressive thing to me was his decision making on the catch, whether to shoot it or drive it. That was high level.
Obviously, you guys are 3-1 since you've been leading this thing. I know you've talked about everybody, players, other coaches. Why have you guys been able to turn this around in what could have just been a get to the finish line type of end of the season?
The character of the people in this program. I think that's been the most important thing. A lot of times, when you go through adversity, and we've collectively, obviously, it's been painful at times collectively, but it's also been, we've been able to have some really good moments together and some fun moments. And I think these guys, they're playing with an edge right now, and they're playing with a great deal of confidence and aggressiveness. But you're seeing the character kind of the people in this program, and it's being revealed at a high level. So I'm really happy for our guys to be able to experience this, our staff to be able to experience the success we've had. But make no mistake, our guys have earned it, and I think it's important to note that.
Jake, I don't know how much stock you put into plus minus, but when you look at a line where Felix had 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and scored 3 points, but he's got plus 28 in a game you won by 9, what does that say about the kind of impact he had?
This is 2 games in a row where he has been really impactful, and he had a couple shots he'll make there, but his defense, his rebounding, he alters shots, and it's not just the block shots, it's the shots he alters at times, and his presence in the paint. And I thought his communication and some of the switching that he had to do, I was so impressed with him. It felt like, aside from, there was a possession we had him on Hoiberg, there were some unique lineups at times in this game, and he was so good. And this is now 2 games in a row, and I think you're seeing, when he plays at that level, how much it can help us.
And early in the conference schedule, it felt like you had a lot of close games where you put yourself in spots where if we get this stop, we're in the right spot, and you guys rarely ever got those stops. Tonight, it felt like Nebraska cut it to 2 or 3 so many times, and almost every time your defense got the stop you needed and then got a bucket. How confident are you in those spots when you need a big stop that you know you guys are going to get that stop?
Yeah, we're very confident right now, and we talked about it in the last media. It was like we had to stay aggressive. I think that's been a big thing for us, is stay aggressive, stay in the moment. Whether we're up 2, down 2, we've been now on both sides of that situation in the game, and our guys have stayed really aggressive. We've been really connected and battled on the defensive side, and our rebounding, I think, at the end of games has been important for that too. But yeah, it's, you know, our staff, like, they deserve a ton of credit. We've been able to execute on both sides of the ball at a pretty high level in the game these last couple games. So it's been fun to see the look in the eyes of our guys in those kind of last timeouts and the things they're saying. It's been fun to close these out.
Yeah, Roddy was in here and he was saying how because Bruce was out, he needed to maybe take more of a leadership role and use his voice more. So I'm wondering, like, did you see that? And maybe in the huddle, like, was he speaking up more, and maybe were some other guys doing that too because of Bruce's absence?
Yeah, I think that was a collective effort, and Roddy certainly, you know, he stepped up in that regard. We've been trying to get Roddy to do that more and more, and he has. You know, he has these last couple weeks. So Roddy has great feel and a high basketball IQ. He can see things, and he understands the game really well. So we need his voice. You know, we need him to share what he's seeing and what he's feeling, and I think he's done a really good job with that lately. And you know, again, I started off talking about him earlier. Like his impact has been huge for this team.
And you were talking before about how you feel like your team is playing with an edge, and obviously today with Jameson, you're showing a lot of emotion. So where do you think that is coming from right now? That from your entire team, Jameson, Roddy, you've shown a lot of emotion, dunks and all that last couple games. Like, where do you think this is all coming from?
I think collectively, you know, from everybody in our program, we've all tried to really, we've talked about trying to find a way to get that to come out more, and play with more passion. I think certainly I need to lead by example, and that probably led by a little too much example at times. Tonight, ref told me I crossed half court once or twice, which I gotta clean that up certainly. But our guys are playing with a great sense of togetherness. They're celebrating like it's not necessarily plays that they make, but they're celebrating each other's plays at a high level. And that goes all the way through our program. We've practiced that way. Our staff has done a great job with that. So, you know, I think our guys are cutting loose a little bit, you know, from the passion standpoint and playing with, you know, having some fun within the competitiveness of the game, which has been fun for us to see as a staff, see them doing that.
Go ahead.
Steve, with the Sports and Spirituality Show, you've been very vocal about your faith. I'm wondering about this interim head coach position, how that's impacted that portion of your life, and how you've been able to use that as a platform to share with others.
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I think anytime, you know, my faith is like that's the foundation I stand on, and anytime you go through adversity, I'm fortunate to have some really wise people, you know, mentor me on the spiritual side. But I think anytime I've gone through adversity in my life, that's where I've had to try to turn to first. And, you know, I talk to our guys, you know, I just said there's some things that the best way I can help you is be the best version of myself, and that's certainly a component of that. So I want to continue to be who I am, and, you know, I don't think I'm here or there tomorrow or whatever it is without God having me right where He wants me. And so I want to serve Him as well as I possibly can. And this is the role He has me in right now. I want to serve Him as best as I possibly can in this role. So, you know, I have a sense of peace, you know, when I lean on that, and that's been, there's no denying how helpful that's been for me personally. So I appreciate your question.
Something far less important to ask you about after that. But not having Bruce, how does that stress this team offensively, defensively? He does so much. He's your leading scorer, assist guy, minutes. How did you have to try to overall compensate for his absence?
Collectively, you know, I think there was certainly Jameson's aggressiveness helped, but I think you mentioned a lot on the offensive side. I'd say the defensive side too. Like he's one of our most detailed defenders as well, and that's to me again. They're so good offensively and defensively for that matter. But I was impressed how connected we were defensively, because a lot of times he's been a voice, a big voice for us on both sides of the ball. So to see our guys step up and kind of fill that void, which most people would have anticipated being an issue going into this game, but I think we had a great deal of confidence that our guys were going to be highly connected. Bruce is a connector, and so, but we felt like our guys had proven just how connected they are, and we weren't concerned about them stepping up in that regard. But I think the ball handling thing and stuff, certainly, but we trust Dale. We've gotten Tayson's done some good things these last few games. Probably we've moved Evan at times as a primary ball handler, his versatility. So we keep going back to the depth of this team. I think it's a real strength for us. And so you saw that with obviously such an important piece being out.
And then you have Michigan at home on senior day. The way this team is playing, you talk about all the adversity you've overcome. Like what is that going to be like? You have this opportunity here at home against your rival. What do you expect from that? What is that challenge going to be like of continuing this, handling the adversity in the right way when there's going to be a lot of emotion and extra things going into a game like that?
Yeah, listen, we know how important this game is. Certainly to celebrate our seniors, certainly because it's we're nearing the end of our regular season, but make no mistake, this game is important because it's the team up north, and so we own that. We are leading into that starting tomorrow. We didn't get the job done at their place earlier in the year, and we expect to get their very best. I think that's the beautiful thing about rivalries. Hopefully that is a high level game from both sides. That's the best part about them, and we're going to be ready to go. We're going to lean into who our opponent is, certainly.
Jake, thanks.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you, Jake.